Hello class 8th, hope you all are good. Now children, today in this video we will continue the same chapter in chemistry, that is your chapter number 6, chemical reaction. Let's start the chapter. Now what is displacement reaction? A reaction in which one element displaces another element from its compound. For example, A is an element and BC is a compound. Okay, A displaces this B from BC, and what A comes in place of B and forms AC plus B. The new compound is formed AC, and what displacement element is your what B. For example, when zinc react with copper sulfate, zinc displace this copper from copper sulfate and form zinc sulfate plus copper. Right? These reactions are called what? Displacement reaction. Let's take another example. Suppose this copper react with zinc sulfate. Right? Just look at here. Is this reaction possible? No. Why? Because copper cannot displaces zinc from its compound. Right? Why? Because the position of zinc is above copper in activity series. But here the question is that how do we know which element is more reactive and which is less reactive? To answer it, we have an activity series of metals. Activity series of metals is a list of metals in the order of their decreasing chemical reactivity. Now this is activity series. See this list here. Potassium is the most reactive metal because it is placed at the top. Then sodium is less reactive than potassium. Calcium is less reactive than potassium, and so on. Okay, here silver is least reactive metal. That is why it is placed at the bottom of the list. So according to this activity series, potassium can displaces sodium from its salt or compound. Sodium can displaces calcium from its compound. Calcium can displaces magnesium from its compound, and so on. Right? It means these metals which are above hydrogen, they can displace copper from its salt, but copper cannot displace these elements from their salt. Right? So just look at here. The same way you have potassium. Potassium can displace hydrogen from this compound water because potassium position is above the hydrogen. And that's why it forms what? Potassium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is evolved. Right? Let's take more examples. Now just look at here. Copper plus silver nitrate gives you silver plus copper nitrate. Because copper position is above silver, so copper displaces silver. And that's why silver plus copper nitrate is formed. The same way iron is above copper, so iron can displaces copper from its salt and form iron to nitrate and copper. Right? Calcium react with water and form calcium hydroxide and hydrogen. As calcium position is above hydrogen, so calcium can displaces hydrogen. Same way zinc position is above hydrogen, so zinc displaces hydrogen from hydrogen chloride and forms zinc chloride and hydrogen. Now next is your double decomposition reaction. Double decomposition reaction is a reaction in which both the reactants or both the compounds, they decompose to get a new compounds by replacing their radicals. By replacing their radical. For example, AB is a compound react with CD. So both will break down, both will decompose, right? And form new compounds by exchanging their radicals. How? Just look at here. This A comes in place of C and C goes in place of A. Right? And then it forms AD, a new compound, and CB, another new compound. Now just look at here this equation, chemical equation. Silver nitrate when react with potassium chloride, right, then they form silver chloride and potassium nitrate. Means silver nitrate, the silver comes in place of potassium and forms AgCl, and this potassium goes in place of what? Silver, and form KNO3 potassium nitrate. So what is double decomposition reaction? A reaction in which both the reactant, that is compounds, they are decomposed to give new compounds by exchanging their radicals, right? Next is your neutralization reaction. Reactions between two compounds, that is your base and acid, to give two new compounds, that is your salt and water, by the change of what? Radicals. Then the reaction is called what? Neutralization reaction. For example, this base NaOH when react with HCl, hydrochloric acid, it gives this Na comes in place of H and form NaCl, and H what goes in place of Na and forms what? H2O, water. So what is neutralization reaction? The reaction in which an acid solution reacts with a base by exchanging their radicals to form a salt and water is called neutralization reaction, and it is a type of double decomposition reaction. Now next is your precipitation reactions. Reactions between two compounds in aqueous solution state to give two new compounds, one of which is insoluble, that is called what? Precipitate. Right? Now just look at here, when iron 3 chloride react with sodium hydroxide, Fe come in place of Na and form what? FeOH whole thrice, iron 3 hydroxide, and it gives reddish brown precipitate of iron 3 hydroxide. The same way when zinc sulfate react with ammonium hydroxide, it gives you ammonium sulfate plus zinc hydroxide, that is a gelatinous white precipitate of zinc hydroxide is formed. The same way when sodium chloride react with silver nitrate, it gives sodium nitrate and white precipitate of AgCl or silver chloride, and it is always this arrow. Just look at here, this downward arrow shows this is a symbol for what, or this is a sign of precipitate. Understood? And what is precipitate? It is actually an insoluble form of a compound, is called what? Precipitate. Thank you children. Rest of the part we will do in next video.